So today we're talking about online dating and the wonderful scary world that is online dating. So if any of you haven't done online dating before, I actually highly recommend it, despite all the horror stories that you hear. Two of my long-term relationships have been from online dating, and in fact I'm about to get married to someone that I met through a very well-known online dating website. So today we're going to talk a bit about what to expect when you first enter the world that is online dating, and also how many times have I said online dating in the past minute. It's a bit excessive. And also some advice and tips on what to do on your dates. So we posted this post on the W Review a few months ago, and I thought it was a good one to share with you. So one of the best things about online dating is the very first instance where you've uploaded your profile. You can go and look through all your potential dates, your potential love matches, wink at people, like people, all that stuff. And you get to do all of that before you actually have to go outside, out of your house, off the sofa and meet someone. So after you've done your sofa shopping, which is slightly horrendous but also quite interesting and odd and brilliant all at the same time, there are a few things that might happen once you venture outside into the world. So one of the first things is bumping into a guy that you have previously liked or winked or whatever, and they then looked at your profile and then didn't like you back. So that's always a weird one. That's kind of one of the first ones where you're a bit like, oof, that's kind of hits you in the heart, that one, but once you get used to it you just shrug it off and it's fine. The next one is seeing a guy that you're currently messaging also on a date with someone else. Again, quite weird, but you just have to kind of scuttle away and pretend that you didn't see them, or, you know, if you did see them, then just admit that you saw them when you next speak to them, and, you know, because you're dating other people just as much as they're dating other people, but it can be quite surreal. The next thing is being on a date yourself and seeing someone else who you're also messaging when all you want to do is hide or look away. The best thing to do is just pretend it didn't happen. Don't say to the guy that you're with or the girl, I just saw somebody else that I'm messaging, because that just opens up a whole other can of worms. The next thing is sitting there wondering if he's messaging somebody else whilst you're on your date, if he looks at his phone every 5 minutes. So sometimes when people are nervous, they look at their phone a lot, or they have to do something to keep themselves distracted. That doesn't automatically mean that your date is messaging someone else. They might be, but it doesn't automatically mean that. The other thing is kind of going on your date and realising that this person is actually in your no-go criteria, so they're not really for you, and they might have lied about a few things, or some things have come across differently face to face. And one of the worst ones is obviously that he's married or she's married, which is like horrendous. And then failing that, obviously finding out that they're racist, homophobic, sexist, or accumulation of all three. So if that does happen, then just run like the wind. But those are the kind of the terror stories that could happen, and the things that are most probably likely to happen. So it's quite a volatile world, and if you are going to venture into this situations, then you kind of have to prepare yourself that it is going to be awkward at times, and you are going to find it difficult, and there will be times when you just want the world to swallow you up and pretend that nothing's ever happened, and that you're back on your sofa still shopping for potential dates. So with that in mind, we thought we'd put together some top tips for how to avoid dating disasters and kind of ease the tension somewhat. So the first one is to talk to your date on the phone before you meet them. We spoke with the Daily Mail recently, article below, and one of our main pieces of advice for their online dating article was to have a phone conversation before you meet them. Meeting someone face to face is always difficult, but once you've broken the ice with a phone call, it kind of makes it a little bit easier. And also you can tell so much from that first conversation. You can tell if there's any chemistry there, you can tell if they're on your wavelength, you can kind of judge their sense of humour somewhat. So that's always a good recommendation. The next thing is always have somewhere else to go. So there's nothing worse than being on your first date and thinking, I'm stuck here all night, there's no way I can get away. We're not saying that you sit down and say, I can only stay for an hour. Instead, maybe after about 10 minutes, say that you're meeting a friend later, and then if it does go well, you can take them to meet your friend, or if it doesn't go well, then you've always got that out to exit swiftly. The next thing is dressing for your date. There is nothing worse than turning up to a date overdressed. Don't go to the cinema in heels and a little bodycon dress. You will feel awkward when everyone else is in their jeans and t-shirt, and you're there pulling your dress down. So kind of dress appropriately, and if you're ever unsure, go slightly more casual. I know people say that you can never be too overdressed, but in some situations it's better to feel comfortable than it is to feel uncomfortable. The next thing is eye contact. Having really good eye contact is really, really important, not just for dates, in fact for everyday life really, but don't look at your food the whole night. Kind of look into their eyes, be engaged, show that you're interested, and it exudes confidence, and it shows that you're really interested in what they're saying. Obviously there's a borderline, like there is with most things. Don't do it so much that then becomes intense and scary. Kind of get the balance right. And the last tip is go to the loo. I once sat through a whole day with spinach in my teeth and my date didn't tell me, and it wasn't until I went to the loo after we'd had dessert that I realised that there I was, leafy green hanging out, and I was mortified. So kind of taking a couple of trips to the loo every so often, if you are feeling a little bit insecure, is the best way to make sure that you don't have food in your teeth or something on your face, or I don't know, something stuck in your hair. So it kind of adds that peace of mind that you are looking and feeling good, and that's the most important thing, that you feel good and that you are, not going to freak out the minute that you realise that something bad's happened. So with that in mind, those are our top tips for online dating, but do please comment with yours below. Share your dating disasters or comment with your advice, any tips that you've got for us. Please write below and tweet them to us as well at the W Review. As usual, please subscribe to these vlogs, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!